Welcome back to CFB Enthusiasts, guys. My name is Jimmy. That's Patrick. That's Jacob. As y'all can tell, we have a very special guest joining us today, Lindsey Scott, a assistant quarterback coach for Texas Tech Red Raiders, the number 5 Texas Tech Red Raiders right now. He's a former LSU recruit, EMCC, Mizzou, Nichols, and finished off at Incarnate Word. Also played for the Arlington Renegades, is where I met him at. And right now, he is currently, like I said, the assistant quarterback coach at Texas Tech. Man, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. I'm blessed, blessed to be in the situation that I'm in, that we're in as a program. Blessed to be on this pod, and so I'm doing great right now.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. I have a question about this roster, right? So there's been a lot made about Texas Tech and the money they spend this offseason and crafting this very loaded and talented roster. Reports come out over $20 million roster, whatever that is. And a lot of people point to that as to the reason why y'all are having a lot of success as a coach that is with those guys day in, day out, what signs did you see in the off season that you're like, man, we got some special brewing here in Lubbock?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the talent, kind of matters, but I think when you bring a bunch of guys into a room that maybe didn't come up together from their freshman year to their senior year, there's a concern about cohesiveness, and that is one of the things that I saw over the summer. Just watched them go through summer workouts and summer practices. Coach McGuire does an amazing job of preaching that kind of culture. You would think that this entire team came up together through this program 4 years together because we always preach the brand. That's been the toughest, hardest, most competitive group in the country, and they believe they bought in. And you have your guys that maybe came through the portal, and you have your guys that've been here for a while, and that mix, really kind of had those guys jump on board of that brand and that culture. So once I saw them believe in that in the summer, I knew we had something special. Because you can be on a team, with a some guys that transferred in, and they could be a cancer, they can not be bought in. And once I kind of saw everyone buy in into what we believed, and how we do things here at Texas Tech, I knew we were going to be special because that was going to be the foundation that we leaned on in times of adversity. So I think that was the biggest thing, just kind of watching everybody buying into the brand and what Coach McGuire is preaching and what he believes.
Um, Going to Joey McGuire, one of the most legendary coaches in Texas high school football. He comes to Texas Tech, rebuilds this program. You did mention that he has his guys he brought in through recruiting and brings in guys from the portal. What is it about his personality and his character that makes him such a great coach and has all these guys bought in from all these different places?
Coach is just like he's just one. First of all, he's amazing. The guy, like, he is family oriented, right? He cares about lifting you up as a young man to be a man that can contribute to society. It's not just football with him. The football obviously matters, but he cares about you as a person. He cares about what's going on in your life, and he wants you to come to Texas Tech, get a degree, and then move on. After you're done playing ball, whether it be the NFL or contribute to society. I think that's one of the things why you see people come here and they flourish, because not only are they being watered as a football player, they're also being watered as a young man. And when you're a player, just being a player, in my past, when you're a player and you have a coach that pours into you in every asset of your life, it helps you so much to go to battle for him. It helps you so much to wake up every day and step your foot in the building and be ready to go to work. So I think that's just one of his amazing qualities, is that every corner of your life that you have going on, he cares about it, and he wants you to grow in each corner of that life, of
I
your
like
life.
that. I like
That's
that.
awesome. Yeah.
Pat, Jacob.
Kind of to piggyback off of you're talking about playing as a player, playing for a coach like that. Um, in your career, who's the most impactful coach that you had in your career?
Yeah, I would. I went to a lot of colleges, and when I got to UIW, it was the first time that I had a head coach and offensive coordinator that played quarterback, and that and GJ Kinney, who's at Texas
Yeah.
State right now, and then Mac Leftwich, our current offensive coordinator at or did I say GJ's at Texas State, and then
Yeah.
Mac that's at Texas Tech right now, offensive coordinator. Those two are influential, and kind of the reason why I wanted to get into coaching. You know, my plan was to play for as long as I could and
Yeah.
go take my degree and go do something in computer science or something like that. But um, those two guys really turned my career around and my perspective on the sport. And I kind of want to be that coach, for players to come, somebody that can see the game on their level and and preach life into them. So those two are definitely influential in my career. Just that last year at UIW, and then my decision to get into coaching.
That's awesome. That was about to be my next question, was what kind of got you into coaching and drew you to tech, but you answered the the 2-in-1. But
Yeah,
that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, and they've both been successful since they left Incarnate Word, and it's cool to see.
yeah, they're awesome, man. I
Yeah.
think that it's part of being a coach that I've kind of learned is obviously you have to be intelligent in the X's and O's, but I think emotional intelligence kind of
Yeah.
goes a long way because not every player, and I kind of learned it when I was playing as I got older in college. Not every player responds to things the same way.
Right.
When I was at UIW, I had one offensive tackle that he preferred to kind of get jumped on a little bit. It fired him up, kind of made him lock in, and I had one other teammate that preferred to kind of for you to kind of slow it down,
Yeah.
not yell so much at them, talk it out. So I think that's one of the things that in coaching, is the sign of a really good coach. Just being able to kind of come to a player from different angles.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I love that. Yeah. That's and coaching and just in life too in general. I mean, it's
Hmm.
you got to be able to just see how
Yeah,
everybody is gonna just respond to anything. Really.
yeah. Communication is one of the biggest skills.
Oh, for sure.
Usually successful people can communicate to
Yeah.
people from different areas of the globe. So.
My question for you: I coach football here in Texas for high school. I
Mhm.
always like to ask other coaches this question: what's the biggest lesson that you've learned from coaching in your coaching tenure?
Biggest lesson, I would say, from a term of self development. I had a coach tell me, um, no matter what the meeting, it could be a meeting that is large in scale. We could be talking about recruiting. We could have a big game coming up, or it could be something minimal. Like, write everything down. I have my iPad. I use Good Notes, and every meeting I'm writing something down. Because you're gonna get down the road where whether it be whether your office coach, you want to install something, or you get to the point where you're a head coach and you're trying to build the foundation of your team, right? There's so many good things that I'm learning from these coaches that have been doing it for 20, 30
Yeah,
years, you know. And as a younger coach, it should be your responsibility to soak up all that knowledge, and kind of add and take, the things you like, maybe the things that you don't like that kind of relate to your coaching style. So always write everything down, even if it doesn't seem very important. Down the road, it may be very important.
I like that. Shout out Good Notes. I use them too.
Yeah, good enough. Good enough is fire. Good enough is. I
Lindsay,
actually, what's up?
was coaching always in the back of your mind? Is that something you've always thought about, or is this something over the past couple years that has popped up in your mind and something you've been wanting to do?
Yeah, when I was younger, like high school, freshman, sophomore year of college, I had never really thought about coaching. And then you'd have people here and there kind of say, you're going to be a great coach one day. There's a saying that good quarterbacks usually make good coaches, and I guess as I was getting older, I had those those people kind of saying those things kind of crept into the back of my mind. But it wasn't really until you know the tenure between. Um, it was when the UFL had merged. The USFL and the XFL had merged. Because I originally got drafted to the Pittsburgh Maulers in the USFL. Then it
Right.
merged, and we had to kind of wait that year to the spring to play. And it wasn't that year. I was kind of figuring out, okay, what am I going to do? And then I hit up Coach Kenny there at Texas State, asked if I can come join. It was kind of that space and time where I was doing nothing football related. I was training, but I wasn't really with the organization. I realized I really missed that. I missed the family aspect of it.
You know,
It's something that I had. It's been a part of my entire life, from Pee Wee to middle school to high school, college. I've always been, around a group of guys, kind of working towards a common goal. So I think in that time right there, before I got to Texas State, I realized that this is what I wanted to do, and I'm committed to going all in and trying to be the best at it.
Let's talk about your career a little bit as a player.
Mm-hmm.
So, out of high school, a three-star recruit from Louisiana, LSU comes calling. I don't think it's something you could turn down if in that state, right?
Yeah,
So, what
yeah.
what went into your decision to go to LSU? I'm sure it wasn't a hard decision once they offered you, but how did that recruiting process go for you?
It's actually kind of funny. I was committed to Syracuse for the longest time. When I was kind of my junior year, or like towards the end of my senior year, and then I believe Tim Lester was the head coach of Syracuse. He got relieved, and the new staff came in. And at that time, I started looking at some other options because obviously it wasn't the coach that recruited me. So I go on a recruiting visit to Maryland, um, and there's a snowstorm. There's not much to do, and it kind of been the best thing for me because I was hanging. I got to spend one on time with the players and the coaches, and I remember getting on the flight back. And I'm on the plane. I'm looking at my mom and dad. I'm like, I think I'm gonna commit to Maryland. Like, I kind of want to go here. We got some family in the DMV area, so I thought it'd be perfect. And then right before I got on that flight, I get a call or a text from Les Miles and Cam Cameron saying they want me to come in on an official visit. And I was like, nah, like I think I'm good. Like, I think Maryland's where it's at. And then and my dad was like, or I can't remember who it was, my mom or dad or my parents. So I was like, well, at least let's go check it out. It's 20 minutes down the road. So I went and checked it out, walking into Death Valley, putting on the uniform. Any kid that grew up in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, it's a dream to go play for the flagship school. So I think once that jersey touched my skin, I was like, yeah, let's sign, let's do it.
yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
um, so things don't end up working out at LSU. You go to EMCC. Obviously, last chance you was there. I think the year before you got there, correct?
Yep. Yep.
Talk to me about Buddy Stevens and how he was as a coach and how he
hmm
was for you. And
Yeah.
is he what last chance you portrayed?
I think Last Chance You, first, Buddy was an amazing coach. He did everything he could to help me kind of move to that next step. But I think the show kind of took the lowlights and magnified it.
Mm.
Because when you, especially now being a coach, every coach kind of has that moment where they may be frustrated with a player, this, that, and the other, and they're just emotional about it. But I think they kind of took that and kind of boosted for ratings. He was a great coach while I was there. Got fired up every now and then like a coach would. I remember our first game. Um, we're playing Jones Community College. It's like a shootout going back and forth. Jones is running cover zero every play. And I get into a little argument with one of the other coaches. He comes over and sits both of us down and kind of rips us a little bit. But you need that as a head coach.
Yeah.
And then we go out and win the game, end up having a good year and win the JUCO National Championship. So Coach Buddy was a great coach. Gets fired up just like every other coach. And I thank him for allowing me to come into the program because it kind of kept my college career alive.
That's
It's
awesome, man.
awesome.
I love that. After that, you end up going to a couple other schools, and then you end up at Incarnate Word. This is where you just popped off with GJ Kinney. What is it? 60 touchdowns, 67 total touchdowns.
Yeah,
71 total.
70, I had
Oh, my
I had
bad. Yeah, man.
I
And then
had
you end up winning the Walter Payton Award, which isn't it the equivalent of the Heisman for FCS?
yes sir, yes
Yeah,
sir
so
it is.
you got guys like Cooper Cup, that's one it, Tony Romo, Jimmy G, Trey Lance,
Duck
guys like that,
Hodges.
man. Doug Hodges, I did see
Hodges.
that too. Taylor Heineke. What happened that year for you to pop off? It seemed like the perfect storm for you and perfect offense and system for you.
Yeah, I think at that point it was just kind of like it was my last year. Uh, Not so much back against the wall, but just being your last year, you got to go out and perform. Um, Coach GJ and Coach Leftwich, they were both brilliant offensive minds and kind of, you know, taught me things that I could carry over. I think honestly the best thing for me that year, because I was always a dual threat quarterback, um, and when things would kind of break down, I would just rely on my legs to kind of go get 5 yards and make a play. The best thing for me that year was I think it was our second game. We're playing Nevada at Nevada, FCS versus
Right.
FBS school. I'm running out to the right early in the game, and I'm holding on to the ball. No, I need to throw it away, but I'm holding the ball, trying to see if there's anything left down the field. And then I throw it away last minute. I get pushed in the back, and I fall kind of knee first, and my knee and kind of my thigh kind of shift like that. And at the moment, I got up, and I was like, okay, this is kind of weird. But the next drive, I'm running, trying to run away from a defensive tackle, and the defensive tackle hawks me down. I'm like, okay, that was weird. Like something's up. So we end
It's
up
like
winning
you're
the
like that
game.
never happens.
Yeah, no, they're like D tackle. That was odd. So we end up winning the game, and then we get on the plane, and my knees just like swollen. I end up tearing my PCL, and it was a grade 2. I think 25-30% tear. And the doctor's telling me like, yeah, you can still play on this. You just gotta wear this brace for 8 weeks, and it will naturally heal by itself. You don't need surgery. And that injury right there was the best thing for me because it forced me to kind of turn from a dual threat quarterback to a pure pocket passer. And I kind of changed the way I looked at the game. I changed the way I looked at coverages because for 8 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks, I couldn't scramble.
No.
So it made me a pure passer, and that's when you kind of saw the numbers kind of light up a little bit. And then on top of that, just Coach Leftwich is a great scheme. He's got the vertical passing game, and it allowed me to kind of take full advantage. Not relying on my legs so much. So that kind of flipped, and then got to the playoffs, and I was able to take that brace off, and we were back to the normal things. But on top of that, I had the experience of just having to sit in the pocket and make plays from there. So
I'm like, y'all took North Dakota State to the wire. They're a powerhouse now.
man, should have 35-32. That's gonna be one of my most memorable games just because you're playing one of the best FCS programs, and we should have won that game. There's some controversial uh, calls that game, but it's the Fargo Dome is awesome. The stands are right up on you. There was like a 12-year-old behind me heckling me the whole game. It was crazy. But that's gonna be one of my most memorable games. Even though we didn't win, it was to take UIW to that point. In the semifinals, it was pretty great.
Phyllis, Pat, Jacob, y'all have any more questions?
My other question is about Sheil Woods. So first off, I think he should win the Broyles, but what is it?
I agree.
I'm a defensive guy myself, so
Mm-hmm.
my question is, what is it like? I don't know how much you're gonna see him like day to day in practice, because offense, defense.
Mm-hmm.
But what has it been like seeing him kind of transform that defense from like a
I,
Texas Tech defense to a
yeah,
legitimate, hey, we're gonna shut you down defense?
right. I think in the springtime, you're going against each other the whole time, right? And I think I realized in the spring like how special the defense is going to be. Obviously you got J Rod, you got David Bailey, Romello Heights, Lee Hunter, just these
Yeah.
these freaks. Bryce Pollock
Dogs,
in the
bro.
back end. Yeah, I mean, like it's a star-studded defense, but at the same time, you got this Mad Hatter who is the
Yeah.
pulling all the strings. He's extremely, extremely, extremely smart. He's extremely detailed. When you think of defensive coordinator, like if I close my eyes and think of the defense coordinator, Sheil Wood is the image that comes to mind. There is not a single page that goes unturned with him. If there's everything that an offensive does, he's analyzing, he's making sure he has an answer for it, and I think that's on top of these great players, that's the reason our defense is having so much success because uh, Coach Wood makes sure that anything and everything that can be ran in that game, it gets addressed during the week. I love his attention to detail. He's awesome. He's a great family man. And you talk about, like I was saying, writing notes down. There's things that he said in his interview, or I hear him say when he comes into the office. I'm like, let me write that down. Just from a coordinator perspective. And just it's the reason why one of the reasons why our defense is having so much success because of the mastermind. Kind of making sure everybody can be in a position to make plays.
Yes. That's
I
cool.
love that. I love that. Yeah. J Rod though.
What makes Jacob Rodriguez so special? You've seen him practice. You see him around. He seems like a really likable guy from the outside looking in,
Hmm.
and he's like one of those guys you run for through a brick wall for, right? And he matches that with his on the field play.
Yeah.
So speak to me on his effect on the team and his Heisman campaign.
Yeah, J Rod is special. Like when you talk about a Red Raider, J Rod is a Texas Tech Red Raider. You know, he's very cerebral. He's very smart. He was actually a quarterback in high school.
Yeah.
Went
Mm-hmm.
to Virginia as a quarterback. So I think he sees the game from a different perspective. Sometimes he's extremely smart, athletic, and once you get the game day, just watching him, it's almost like everything is subconscious. There's not a thought that really kind of happens. He like the preparation has already been had. He knows what to expect, and he just lets his body, his mind, kind of take over. And it shows. Like he's jumping on balls, getting picks. I think his greatest quality, or at least to me, the most amazing quality. If you go back and watch his like tackles, like obviously he has I can't remember how many forced fumbles, but when you go back and watch the film, the ability for him to punch at the ball and if it's not successful, still wrap up is just blowing to me.
Yeah.
It's so simultaneously. It's almost like art to watch. But he's a freak on the field. It's almost like people say the linebackers like the quarterback of the defense. He's out there truly playing quarterback for the defense. So um, really happy to have that guy on our team, and not having to play against him.
I kind of piggybacking off of you speak him so highly about Jacob Rodriguez and how talented he is. During your playing career, though, who would you say is the most talented teammate you ever had?
Man, the
I
most
know
talented
there's,
team.
I'm sure
There's a lot of
I
them.
know there's a good list, but
Yeah.
was there ever one guy in practice that you're just there and you're sticking out and you're like, yeah, I know he's better than anybody we're gonna play, or I know he's gonna be there on Sundays.
Yeah. I had a lot of great teammates.
Yeah,
I would say just a guy that's in the NFL right now doing it. I remember when I was at LSU, my I think my redshirt freshman year, we're in the indoors having a little throwing session. This kid walks in, he's skinny, looks like he weighs like 165 or something like that.
yeah,
And I'm like, who the heck is this? He's like, oh, this is a new kid. Like he's like gray shirt or something like that. He's gonna be joining the team soon. And kid lines up, straps his cleats up, no warm up, lines up wide, and just takes off, knees in his chest, hauling deep post first route. You know how insane it is when a deep post your first route, no warm up.
yeah.
Ball's a little overthrown. He just plucks out the air one handed. I was like, who is that? And they're like, oh, yeah, that's Justin Jefferson. That's
Hey, I
I
mean,
was like, yeah, that's Justin Jefferson. I was like, all right, he look like he's gonna be pretty good. I ended up leaving, but obviously he had the career he did.
yeah,
So he was a freak just when
that's crazy.
stepping in the facility. So, but I mean, I've played with so many.
Yeah,
Like at LSU, there was Leonard Fournette. Um, who else? Leonard Fournette's obviously one of the big ones.
You came
Foster
in with
Moreau,
Devin White, right?
yeah.
Devin
Dude,
White, Greedy
Foster.
Williams,
Foster, man. People sleep
Foster
on Foster.
Moreau. Foster's my dog. That's my dog. Danny Etling was the
Danny,
quarterback
I
while I was
was
there.
just talking about him earlier today. Yeah,
Dan, yes, Danny Etling. Foster and Danny are my best friends. Like I was in
that's
Danny's
dope.
wedding. We try to do like a little trip every summer. We got
That's
an
super
NBA
cool.
2K. Um,
Who do you use on
we
2K?
well, it's kind of
Oh,
I was the Utah Jazz, and then it got to the point where like everybody's changing their team names.
oh yeah,
So it's pretty fun. We try to do it every year. You
that's
got
dope.
some of Foster's teammates will hop in. So
That's cool.
it's pretty fun. It gets competitive. It gets real
Yeah.
competitive.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's awesome. And
Yeah.
Listen, being a Louisiana guy, I just thought about this off the top of my head. Give me your top five Louisiana football players.
Man, this is crazy.
Would you say y'all have the best talent first and foremost?
Per capita, I'd have to say
Okay,
per capita.
okay.
Top five. I'm gonna say top five in my time. Um, No order.
Okay.
If we're talking like high school, like just guys that I've seen play, Puka
Yeah.
Williams Puka Williams was a freak in high school.
He was
Uh,
really good.
Puka Williams was a freak. Uh, I'd have to put Justin and Jamar in there because they were doing
Yeah.
crazy things in high school.
Can't-
And then for fourth, oh, what's that kid's name? Oh, I forgot. He went and played. He went and ended up playing. This is just like my time. They're like kids that I was watching when I was in high school. Um, he went and played at Alabama. Oh, Landon Collins was a freak too.
oh,
Landon
Okay.
Collins, and then I would say for the last one, probably Eddie Lacy. Eddie Lacy. I was like a freshman. No, I was like in eighth grade watching Eddie Lacy play football at I think Dutchtown High School. He was a freak too. So that's just the guys that I witnessed kind of coming up that I would look at like I'm trying to be like him, or that I just had a lot of respect for coming up in the high school ranks, end up being great players. Um, but I'm sure. I mean, Louisiana star-studded. There's so many. I mean, I can't even compute the entire list of people.
Right. Y'all were stacked.
Tyron Matthew. I mean, like,
yeah.
uh,
Hey, Badger.
it, yeah, it goes on. So
Wrapping this thing up, Lindsay, looking at your quarterback room, Baron Morton, we had Will Hammond, who ended up going down, unfortunately, but speak to me about how those guys are in the quarterback room and how competitive it is, because I'm sure it is, because we saw Will Hammond come in a couple of games, especially I saw that Utah game, and he came in for
mm,
Baron Morton. I'm just like, whoa,
mm,
this guy can spin it. But obviously, Baron
Does
Morton's been there, and he's been, the veteran uh, presence. He started last year. So speak to me about the talent in that quarterback room.
I
yeah. I
say
mean,
don't
we got. What's up?
I say don't sleep on Mitch Griff's either.
Yeah, that's what I was
Right.
about to say. We have a lot of talent in the quarterback room. Like
Yeah.
obviously Barron's the veteran. He's been there. Will Hammond's the up and coming gunslinger, and you have Mitch who was a 2-year starter at Wake Forest. And won games in the ACC. I said at the beginning of the year, somebody asked me who I liked the most. And I was like, honestly, I love all of them. Like, I feel confident. If you gave me 12 games with any of those three quarterbacks, we can go out and win the Big 12. They all have their own skill sets and do things amazing. I think my favorite part is how much of a brotherhood it is. Like we do like these kind of before we start a meeting. We'll sit down, just kind of ask how everybody's day is going, and like it's a 5 or 7 minute conversation that kind of turns into almost like a uh, like a lunch table conversation. We're just talking about ball or this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
So you really feel the love in the room. They all support each other. You can go back and I actually saw this picture the other day. Um, we're playing UCF this last game, and Mitch is in the game now. We're up by 30 something points, something like that. Mitch throws a dot on a deep crossing route, and at the time, we thought it was a touchdown. Everybody's going crazy. And then you can kind of see in the background, Barron's like fired up. Mitch is like, they're looking at each other. Barron's like, he's yelling, yeah. And I think just that picture right there, I'll send it to you. But I think that picture right there just kind of shows the love in the quarterback room, how much they support each other. And that's what you need, because quarterback's hard. And
Yeah.
especially at a big school like Texas Tech, they can love you one week, hate you the next, and you need to have a room that's uplifting you and supporting you no matter what. So that's exactly what we have
Texas Tech, y'all are 10-1.
there.
One game left. Big 12 championship. What do you think the message will be from Coach McGuire to keep the team focused for this run? And hey, y'all are in great prime position to host a playoff game in CFP and try to go reach your ultimate goal. What do you think will be the message from Coach?
The message will be simple. It's the same message we've had week in and week out. It's one and no mindset.
Yep.
Every week, the student assistants, as soon as we land on the plane or if it's a home game, they print out these little sheets that says 1-0. and then they'll have the team we're playing, and it's plastered everywhere. It's on the big board in the weight room. It's taped everywhere. It's a 1-0 mindset, and even during the bye week, it says 1-0, and it has us down. So we got to go 1-0 against ourselves this week during the bye week, and make sure we're getting
Love
better
that.
on the off week. So I know when I step in the building Sunday, it's gonna say 1-0 West Virginia, and then we're gonna keep doing the things we've been doing in and out all season, and that's why we had so much success because we're a process oriented team. We're not worried about the Big 12 championship right now. We got to go beat West Virginia to get there. That's the
Yeah.
mindset, and that's what he's gonna be preaching. That's what everybody in the room is gonna be believing.
Pat, you had one?
Let's see. I asked that. Oh, that's. Uh, hmm. I, I'll ask this one. From growing up in Louisiana, playing quarterback, in college, getting to the college level and playing at a high level, and then going pro with that. Who did you try to mold your game after, or what QBs or QB did
Yeah.
you try to particularly look at, study, and try to emulate that on the field?
Yeah, I'm 5'11" on a good day, and uh, just growing up in Louisiana, trying to emulate my game as a quarterback to guys that had similar stature as me.
Yeah,
Obviously, Drew Brees kind of takes the cake. Being a Saints fan, this year is a little rough for us. We're gonna get there, but
Really
being a
rough.
Saints fan,
happens. It's
it's
a rebuild. And Kellen Moore, we
it's
trust.
I live a nightmare every single Sunday because I'm a Saints fan surrounded by Cowboys fans. It's just like.
Yeah,
Um, But Drew Brees, I loved watching him growing up, and
yeah,
then just talking about guys similar stature. I used to be like in high school, in class. I probably should have been paying attention in class, but I used to be in high school, like watching like Kyler Murray highlights at Allen High School when he won the Gatorade Player of the
yeah,
Year. I wanted to try to emulate my game behind him, and then Russell Wilson.
yeah.
His
Of course.
run in college, and then with the Seahawks at that time growing up, I was like, okay, these are guys that are playing the game at an extremely high level who are built just like me,
Yeah,
and I try to do my best to get my game behind them.
that's awesome. Yeah, three really can't go wrong trying to play like those three at all. I love that. That's a good.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's cool.
yeah, for
Lindsay, I
sure.
appreciate you taking time to join us here for this. This was great. Love getting a coach's perspective. I
Yeah,
think
for
this is the
sure.
first time I've ever interviewed a coach, so I really appreciate you a lot, man. And good luck to the Red Raiders moving forward. By the way, I'm a Texas fan, so it took a lot for me to say that, but we're not gonna make the playoffs. Y'all are, so I'm gonna cheer from y'all from a distance. Good luck, man, and we'll talk down the road.
Yes, sir. I appreciate y'all, man.
Sure.
Y'all have a blessed night.
It was great to
Thank
meet
you,
you,
Thank
my
man.
you.
man.
Bye, bro.